Okay, thank you, Ross. Good morning. Well, we're excited to get back in the fight. You know, it was good to have an open date. I think very beneficial for us as a staff and certainly for our guys with 12 weeks of really just, competitive work. So thankful that everyone had a chance to kind of regroup a little bit. We had a lot of stuff that we need to get taken care of academically as well. And so just a good reset for everyone. Obviously, today's November 1, and, it's good to be in the position that we're in, to be sitting here, 8-0. It's a credit to our team and our staff. These guys have fought all year to get to this point, and I'm just really proud of them. I mean, we've been far from perfect, that's for sure, and when it comes to as far as how we've maybe played or executed at times, but we found ways to win games, and that's a skill. That's a skill, and this team has that skill, and I'm really proud of them. For that, I think health-wise, we're as good as we've been in a long time. Obviously, it's Tuesday practice, and today and tomorrow will be two tough practices as we really ramp it back up and get ready for game mode. But we're in a good spot, going into this phase of our season from a health standpoint, and hopefully that'll continue to be the case. But really excited about, going up to Notre Dame. I mean, this is a really good football team. It's a team that when you really look at them and you study them and have watched, every play of every game and really, a good feel for who they are. Man, I think, and I don't know Coach Freeman, but, man, he's done a great job of really, just settling them in is the best way I can say it. I mean, they had two tough losses. And when you're at a place like Notre Dame and just like at Clemson, it just really shows the type of leader that I think he is, that he's been able to really overcome that and really settle them down. Both and manage that staff and manage his team. I'm really impressed with, I know he's always been a great coach, but I'm impressed with him as a leader because it's a difficult thing to do. So a couple tough losses early. They've had injuries. They lost their starting quarterback. They had to kind of redefine themselves in some areas. They lost a great receiver. They've had, another tight end out. They've had good players that they've lost, but they still got 8 starters back on offense and 7 back on defense. It's a really veteran football team, and all of a sudden you don't get off to the start that you want, and we're right there against Ohio State, and in the fourth quarter, and then obviously another difficult loss after that, and your quarterback gets hurt. How you handle that? Well, I mean, they've won 5 out of 6. They've settled down. I think they have found their identity. They're getting the ball to their playmakers, and the 10 Pine who's come in has really settled in, to the role. I think early on, they were trying to really kind of figure out some things, but man, they got 3 grown men at running back, and there's no secret what their identity is, and you can either match that or you can't, because I mean they have and you've played 8 games, so you have a distinct style of play at this point. And they're a very physical group. All 3 backs can beat you. All 3 of them, they all got about the same amount of carries. I mean, these guys are really, really good football players. We saw one up close a couple years ago. They've settled in at receiver, got 3 really good receivers in 0 and 4 and 83. And then 87 is a All-American. I mean, he's a great football player that they use, but they have a style of play, and you either are ready for that or you're not. So it's going to be a very physical game, no secret there, and then we can't give these guys short fields. We can't turn the ball over. We got to get back to we had 3 turnovers in 7 games, and then all of a sudden we have 4. In one game, so that's a recipe for disaster, and we were very fortunate to overcome that. It'd be hard to overcome that on the road at a place like Notre Dame. So we got to do a good job ball security-wise and try to turn them over and not let them control the ball. And then on the flip side, defensively, they're very well coached. They're well positioned. They're big. They're strong. Same thing, same mindset. That's what they practice against every day. It's a physical mindset that they have, and so do a good job schematically on the back end. They got some veteran players, again, 7 starters back on the defensive side. The 3 linebackers, I think, are outstanding, got a ton of experience. So it's a complete football team. Excellent punter, excellent kicker. And they have, again, I think, as things kind of got away from them early, it's really good to see, because, again, I know what it's like to be in that situation, where there's a lot of disappointment early, especially at a place like Notre Dame. And then, man, to see them respond, I think you got to give them a lot of credit to those kids and to that coaching staff, in particular Marcus and the job he's done. So, winning 5 out of 6, they're a confident group coming off a ranked win. They're one of the few teams out there in the country that have multiple ranked wins. So definitely going to be a tough challenge up there, but we're excited about it. Looking forward to it. I'm sure they're disappointed it's not going to be 3 inches of snow. So maybe one day that'll work out, but I think it's going to be a beautiful night and a great opportunity for both teams, and should be a heck of a football game.
Coach, you played there 2 years ago, obviously, but limited fans because of COVID. How exciting is it for you and your guys to be in that environment, that stadium, and with a packed house prime time?
Yeah, well, I think, that's what makes college football great. And as a competitor and somebody who's been a part of college football for, since 1988, as a player and a coach, I mean, I love that. I loved playing in Tuscaloosa. I loved playing at Legion Field. I know that's a thing of the past, but I love that. I love that environment. I loved going on the road to Knoxville and Baton Rouge and Arkansas and you name it. Been all over the country, and then coming to a place like Clemson and getting a chance to coach in a venue like this. I mean, it's special. And then all these places we get to go to. I mean, it's awesome. Going down. I thought the crowd at Florida State a couple weeks ago was tremendous. We know everywhere we go, we're going to get everybody's best shot. We're going to get everybody's best fan support. You name it. It kind of comes with being at Clemson, and I think as a competitor, you love that. And as a college person, whether you're a coach or a player, is special. And then you have places like Notre Dame, right? Like that's iconic. And I mean, we've won there one time since 1979. Now, I know we've only played there once. But still, I mean, it's not like you get to go to a place like Notre Dame every year. And I think, the history of Notre Dame, the brand of Notre Dame it speaks for itself. I mean, this is a historic place that Tim Beret loves to tell me about for 20 years. So I know way more about Notre Dame than I probably should. But it's special, and I am glad. We were thankful to be able to play. But also at the same time, it's kind of disappointing, cause especially when you have this vision and you go up there and, and it is what it is at that time. But so it is exciting to be able to see Notre Dame at its best. And I know that's what we'll get. We'll get the best they got, and look forward to competing against them.
There's been a lot of attention on Mayer for defense, yet he's still targeted a lot and he's still very productive. What based on what you've seen, what are they doing to still get him the ball amid all that attention?
I mean, it's it's all built for the run game. I mean, they move him around first of all. They'll put him outside and they'll line him up and throw one-on-one red zone shot to him. They'll put him in the slot and run an inside fade. They run double moves with him. They'll use him like a receiver, but most of this, I mean, they screen it to him. I mean, they'll literally screen it to him like he's a receiver. But they've handed it to him in the backfield. But most of it comes through all their run action. Swap, boots, where's Waldo? I mean, he's all over the place. He's 1, he's 2, he's 3. He's because you got to stop the run. You have to stop the run, or they're gonna kill you. And then 3 backs are sledgehammers. And then, all them guys up front, them offensive linemen, they create extra gaps formationally. It's a real challenge to line up against these guys because it's a different type of football than maybe you see on a weekly basis. So, challenge you from a discipline standpoint, a leverage standpoint, alignment, because you have to stop the run. And then, they create off of that with all, the quarterback, he's not a guy that they're going to, put in the shotgun and just drop back and throw it 50 times. That's not who they are. He's going to be on the move all the time, and it all comes off of, everything they do, whether it be the power, the counter, the stretch, the swap boot stuff. It doesn't matter. So they're just creative with where they put him, how they involve him in the just normal pass game, but then all the play action stuff. So everybody knows he's going to get the ball, but again, you still have to respect him as a blocker, and you have to stop the run to have a chance on these guys. If you don't, you're not going to win.
How creative or how much have they evolved their running game as the season gone on? Have you noticed that?
They do what they do. It's a million ways to get to it, but boom, there's the power. At the end of the day, that's what's coming. It's the swap zone. But they do a really good job creatively wise as far as how they get to those things. Million ways to do it, but when it's all said and done, the ball snap, here comes the power right at you. And, you have to be able to fit it all up against, all their different looks, alignments, motions, et cetera. So they do a really nice job, got a good package.
Dabo, another interesting bit of information that Tim Beret shared with us this week is how both your team and Notre Dame have exhibited quite a propensity for blocking kicks,
Yep.
be they punts or field goals.
Yep.
Has that been a stress point
Yeah,
this week?
they 3 games in a row. That might be a record. I don't know. 4 is probably a record. I don't. It's hard to do that. And 3 games in a row where they blocked a punt, and as you said, 5 on the year. That's something absolutely got our attention. High alert. We got to do a great job of communicating and making sure that everybody understands, their job and how to apply what we do to what you see. They've done a great job coming after it.
You've talked this year about the obvious improved play of your quarterback. Is he mentally better off this year to kind of go into the rut that he did than he would have been last year?
Yeah, absolutely. You've seen that throughout the year. He's had some bad moments, and he's, snapped out of it. Just, he's a totally different guy, and our expectation is for him to go play his best game. That's what I expect. He's go back to work. He had a bad day. There's no question about that. But again, I know I gave the analogy, and Steph probably wasn't a good analogy, right? He's never been 2 for 25. Maybe 15 for 25 is a bad day, but maybe an ace pitcher, right? We got the World Series going on. You put your ace on the mound, like there's a certain expectation, right? That's just the way it is. You put Nolan Ryan out there, you put whoever it is, like you got an expectation of what you're going to get from your guy. But even the best of the best, next thing you know, they've hit 3 home runs off of him in the second inning, and it just ain't his day, right? So you just got to give somebody else, you're not going to let him get 4 home runs. If you do, you're just stupid. But that guy's going to come back the next week, right? Or whenever his next start is, he's going to get right back at it. You compete long enough, you're not nobody. We're people. These are people, and people are not perfect. We're just not. We have moments from time to time. I'm sure y'all have some days better than others, and you learn from it and you move on. But yeah, you have to be made of the right stuff to be able to let it help you get better and not lead to more. And he's been awesome, all year. And we're not 8-0 if it's not for DJ. So yeah, he had a bad game, but that's why you got a team, and it was great. Kind of best case scenario in a worst case moment, right? You're down 11 in the 4th quarter, and you got to put your freshman in there and say, go get them. And you know what? The team rallied, and I think that's a skill. It's a skill to be able to find a way to win a game like that, where everything, kind of Murphy's Law, everything is against you. And you have days like that. And you have days that go the other way too. So it is what it is. But man, I'm really proud of DJ and how he's handled himself and how he's led, and he certainly knows he can't go play like that. There's a standard, right? And there's the expectation. I mean, he's the ace. You got to go do your job.
Who pointed out to you that stat wasn't?
Yeah, I don't know. I caught it from a couple of people, that, hey, look, it's probably a bad example, Coach. Steph ain't ever been 2 for 25. I think I offended some of the players or something, So, well, that's probably true. But you know my point. You get my point. It was a bad day. The best of the best have a bad day. But, yeah, probably more like 15 for 25 for him. Bad day. From 3.
Coach, I know you shut out Syracuse in the second half, but how much of a difference will it make having Barrett Carter on the field, assuming he's able to play?
I mean, he's a difference maker, so it makes a big difference. I mean, he's a great football player. He's dynamic. He's great in the run game. I mean, he can cover, really anybody. He can hold his own. He's just got elite speed. He's a little bit of an eraser. He can fix some mistakes that may happen, whether it be up front or, the second level. I mean, he's just a great player. So he's a big difference.
As you talk about getting the ball to your playmakers, Bo Collins hasn't had a catch in 2 games. Is that just as a receiver something you have to live with game to game? You might not get the ball, or you tried to get him the ball more?
Well, I mean, you can, we tried a few things. It just didn't work out. We got a huge PI on a post route. I mean, there's other things that show up. He's had opportunity. It just hadn't worked out. And again, that's the life of a receiver. But we're trying to win the game. And these past 2 games, I mean, it's been a real run focus, and we've been successful, other than the turnovers. But man, Bo's he'll have a bunch more games. He's already had some great games, and he'll have a bunch more as we go through the rest of the season. But it just kind of worked out that way the last couple weeks, and he's had opportunity. Just either the ball hasn't gone to him, or we've had a PI or a missed play. He had a drop ball. He had 1 drop. We had a screen we didn't throw. Just different things. But it kind of comes and goes in the life of a wideout.
When an open date comes at this time of the year with enough of a sample size of games, is there an evaluation like that of, well, this guy didn't get the ball more, let's try that, or maybe a few other receivers who haven't been as much in the mix as you would want? Is that a big discussion?
I mean, I think this is the time of year where your best players got to lead, and they got to be at their best. And you kind of know who you are, and you want to give everybody opportunity to be a part of the game. And we've always tried to do that, but sometimes the game dictates different things. And maybe one guy doesn't have a great day, but Shipley went off for 240-something yards all purpose and 172 yards rushing. So, it's okay. And then there's going to be other games where, Bo has 7 catches and 2 touchdowns, and Shipley had 60 yards. That's football. But we know who our playmakers are, if that's your question. And we absolutely, this game's about matchups. It's about players, not plays. I've always said that. And making sure that we give our players an opportunity to win. And that's really how I evaluate every week, is did we put them in position to be successful? I know what I'm looking at, and I know you get lots of narratives and comments, but most people have no idea what they're looking at. They don't really understand what the kids are being taught. And so, but as I evaluate our plan on both sides, did we put them in position? This game's about the players. It's not about the coaches. Way too much credit, It's about the players and putting them in position to make plays. And as I evaluate every week, because I don't want to walk off the field feeling like we didn't give our kids a chance to win. And as long as I can look in the mirror and say, hey, we gave these guys every opportunity to be successful, at the end of the day, they got to go play. But all you can do is put them in position to be successful, and make sure that you've prepared them to execute in situationally and confidence and belief and all those things. But, you definitely, that's what this championship phase is all about. It's about being focused. It's about your best players playing well, putting them in position to go win the games, because that's how you win in this type of year. Your best players got to lead the way, because everybody's got plenty of film on each other as far as who you are. So now who can do what you do better?
Dabo, how great